Okay, so today is August 8th, and this is going to be my analysis for the markets coming up. Once again, everything that is published on my channel is for informational or entertainment purposes only. Again, just to document my journey as a trader. If you need help with your investments, make sure you consult your financial advisor. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at the currencies, the metals like gold, crude oil, also the indices and crypto, which will be lost. I'll try to put, timestamps so that you guys can go directly to whichever market kind of interests you. Let's get started here with the US dollar. So what's interesting here, I'm not going to get into the COT. We'll just take a look at like the technicals of the market. So this point here was a swing low. You can tell because we have this middle candle on either side, the wicks are like higher. Okay, so we did have a breakdown. This was quite a while back. This is a daily chart, and it did close below, and it looks like it's accelerating. Now, for this to actually change the direction, the trend, the market would have to close above this point here. Okay, so this is a swing high. It would have to close higher. Actually, technically, this one here, because you can tell. So you have a high and then the wick on either side is lower. So the US dollar would have to close higher than this point. If it does, then we could see more strength. But for now, we are looking at a breakdown of the US dollar. And if you go to my previous week's analysis, using COT, I was expecting this to happen. So you actually see it starting to accelerate now. How low could this go? Really depends. It could just keep on going. Who knows? But taking a look at like the other major currencies, like the British pound, you can see on the British pound as well. Okay, so there was a swing high over here, and you can tell that we closed above it, and then we kept on going up, and we're just continuing. There is no swing low at this point. The only swing low, the nearest one, is this point here. So basically, the British pound would have to go all the way down here, break it, and close below it in order for me to change my directional bias. So for now, I am very bullish on the British pound, and I believe I said that last weekend as well. This is the Swiss franc, and I'm just looking at the Swiss franc here. So we have the same thing with the Swiss franc. Okay, so you notice how we closed above the swing high? Okay, so this is the next swing high over here, but we are making higher highs and also higher lows. So for the Swiss franc to break down, we would have to close below this point. Okay, so we'd have to close below this, otherwise it's going to keep going up. The euro, same thing. Okay, let's see here. This was a swing high. We broke above it. We are moving up. And as far as swing low, the swing low is over here. So the euro would have to close below this point in order for me to change my mind. But once again, the bias for the euro currency is to the upside. The Japanese yen. So last week, I think it was last weekend, I said that, I was very hesitant to take any trades on the Japanese yen. If anything, I would be buying. And I did actually catch some of this move here as well. But I'm just looking to see where the swing high here, the nearest one is. So we did break above it. We closed above it. And you can see we are making our way up. As far as my bias for the Japanese yen, I can continue actually to see a potential upside for this currency. So yeah, once again, I'd be very careful of, shorting or selling the Japanese yen. If you are trading USD JPY, be very careful of buying. Okay, so if I go to the CFD here, so those that trade the Forex market, let me see if I can try to find it. This is USD CAD. This one here. Yeah, let me just remove that. I would be very careful of buying because I think the potential for further downside is pretty high. There was actually intervention as well by, I believe, the US and also Japan. So yeah, when they start getting involved and they start throwing like, billions and trillions at a currency, be very careful of trying to, buy or sell. In this case, be very careful of trying to bet against the Japanese yen. Okay, so let me just see. Let's just go back to the Canadian dollar. Same thing. So you are noticing actually a lot of these currencies are starting to strengthen. So we had a swing high here. We broke above it. And I see further upside potential for the Canadian dollar. I'm just trying to find a swing low here. We actually had a, trying to delete that. We have a double bottom here, but this point here is probably more valid. So I think for me to change my mind on the Canadian dollar, we would have to break this point here and close below it. If that happens, then I would be shorting the Canadian dollar. But for now, I'm very biased to the upside. Okay, so that is the Canadian dollar. The Australian dollar looks like we did break a swing high here. Okay, so we are making our way up. This point here, that's a swing low. We would have to close below it for me to change my bias, but definitely to the upside for the Australian dollar. Let me just put that there so you can see for reference. Let's see, New Zealand dollar, same thing. Okay, so we did have a swing. We actually had a swing high over here. We broke above it. There is no real swing low here, which means the swing low is actually this point. So for us, or at least for me, to get a bias to the downside for the New Zealand dollar, it would have to close below this point. Okay, South African Rand. Same thing for the South African Rand. Okay, so this point here, I would say this is a swing high. We broke above it, closed above it, bias to the upside. As far as swing low, the nearest point is, I think I would maybe use this point over here. Okay, I have a very mechanical way of doing things. Technically, this here would be a swing low, but because there's a weird gap, I would actually put it over here. So for the South African Rand, it would have to close below this point in order for me to consider any kind of shorting of the South African Rand. But that is my bias. I see further strength for the South African Rand for this week, potentially. Okay, so that is the currencies. Taking a look at gold, you can see the explosive move on gold. If I switch to the weekly chart, look at the long candle here. And I believe last week, I did say that I was biased to the upside on gold. If you take a look at this swing low, look at how strong that move was. Okay, so it kind of broke that point and it closed above it, and now the momentum is starting to pick up. Now, the nearest swing low for gold is going to be this point over here. So it'd have to close below it in order for me to change my mind, or it creates another swing low and then it closes below that. But yeah, we don't have, obviously that, hasn't played out yet. But based on what I'm seeing here, this is the swing low. Other than that, I will be buying, I think, gold for this week. But I'm not sure if I would buy over here. I'm just trying to think, where would I buy from? We could see gold actually drop initially. And let me just see. So this is a 4-hour chart. I'm just trying to find the origin of this move here that was created by large institutions. So on my 4-hour chart, this zone over here has orders, buy orders. Okay, so whether it gets all the way down there, I don't know. But that is an area that I will be watching for gold. Let's see, silver. Silver also broke a swing. It broke a swing high. Okay, so the swing high, I would say, is probably around here. Let me just do that. Maybe I can zoom in a bit more so you guys can see. Yeah, because I'm looking at the candles, the wicks. Okay, so this point here is higher than this wick and this wick. So therefore, this is a swing high. And then the opposite. So this would be, this here is the nearest, whoops. I wonder if I can do that. That is the nearest swing low, because if you look at the candles and you follow it all the way down, you see the lowest point and these two wicks are higher. on either side. Okay, so that's how you tell. But we did break this point. We are closing above it. Therefore, the momentum is to the upside. And I can see further upside for silver. And what about platinum? Platinum, same thing. Yeah, so it looks like a lot of, a lot of the currencies and metals are all rallying now. Okay, so that would be a swing high. We broke above it. So further upside for platinum and copper. Okay, so you see how copper is moving down. The nearest swing low is going to be this point over here. Okay, so it is in an uptrend as long as it doesn't break this point and close below it. It has to close. If it breaks it and then wicks back up and closes above, that is still considered valid. Okay, so that means that the trend is still intact. If it closes below it, that is the point where you need to consider perhaps the market is changing. In that point, at least for me, I would be looking at short positions or selling. Right now, it hasn't happened yet. So, I am very biased to the upside. This is just a pullback. As far as, how low can this thing go? And where could it potentially turn? Let's see. I'm just looking to see if I can track. There is actually orders over here. And I can tell because there's a gap here. Okay, so if you look at the wick, I can zoom in a bit closer. If you look at the wick of this candle, the one that I've just marked out, and the wick on this side, so this is your main candle, but you notice how there's a gap between the two. That's how I can tell. And the only way that there's a gap is there must have been a lot of orders at this point to push the market where it actually gapped like that, and it, not really gapped, but there must have been a lot of orders to push the price like that without having to retrace where this wick was at the same level of this. Like if you look at here, okay, so you see how this wick is here and this wick is down here, and then it pushed up. But in this case, we do have a gap. That means there's orders over here. So that's kind of how I determine whether there could be potentially orders there. I'm just looking to see where else it could be. There might be orders over here. This one's kind of close. Let's just see. Yeah, I wouldn't consider this zone because this wick here touched the top of this wick, but I do see this gap. Okay, so there's two potential zones for copper. Okay, so the zone right down here, and this is on the 4-hour. So I think price is going to react either to this zone, most likely actually I think to this zone or this zone. Or it could just break all the way through and then close below. But at that point, I think I would then be biased to the downside. But for now, I am definitely biased to the upside for copper, pretty much all the metals, and also for the currencies. Taking a look at crude oil. Okay, so I know last week I was looking at a long position. Obviously, I was wrong. This is where trading can get kind of tricky sometimes. But what I also was not paying attention to, actually at the time, I'm not sure if it had happened yet. I don't think it had happened yet. Because we do have a swing low here and we did break through. So yeah, I think it went up. I did have a zone there. It did react, and I even posted it on my community thing. I was kind of excited because I thought it was going to go up. Next thing I know, the next morning, the thing just tanked all the way down, and we closed below it. At that point, now all of a sudden the trend has changed. So we may see more further downside as far as crude oil. But that changed my mind. When we broke this point, we are now in a downtrend. Okay, so we are continuing this move down. Where could we potentially move down from? So there is actually orders here. I can see. So if you take a look at what I mentioned for copper, look at this gap. So you see this wick here and this wick. There's a massive gap here. There must have been a lot of orders to push the price all the way down. So if crude oil were to gap up into this zone, that is where I would consider to actually short the market, crude oil, that is. It could also potentially go down from here because this move down might be reacting to this zone over here. Okay, so if you look at, if I were to draw this zone, notice how there's a gap between the green candle, the bottom, and this green candle, the wick. So you can see how it has reacted to this zone here. And yeah, it could potentially revisit and then drop back down, or it could turn around, go into this zone, which is fresh. You know, there's a lot of orders, I think, in this area. It could go all the way up there, and then you'll see it most likely react. Or it could go all the way through, and then in that case, we may be looking at a potential reversal once again, because this technically is a swing high here. So if it closes above it, then my bias to the upside has switched. Okay, so just keep that in mind, because you know, crude oil has been very volatile lately. Taking a look at natural gas, let me just zoom in here. Okay, so natural gas is still in a downtrend. Okay, this is the nearest swing high. And this is the nearest swing low. And we actually broke. So take a look at this. We just barely broke below it. Okay, so we broke below it and we closed. This tells me that natural gas is more likely to go down. Okay, so if you are trading natural gas, let's see, where would I look at potentially? Okay, so if we look at this area over here, actually, technically this one here, because there is a bit of a gap here, and there's also this candle, so it's most likely going to go to this one here. If it does move all the way up, this would be a good place to short at. But I'm definitely biased to the downside for natural gas. Looking at YM, which is the Dow Jones. Nearest swing high is going to be, well, actually, technically, it created a new one, which is this one over here, right at the top. Okay, so that is the nearest swing high. Created a new one. Nearest swing low is this one down here. Okay, so for me to consider shorting the Dow Jones based on what we see here, price would need to close below this. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know with these markets, right? But yeah, it could also form another swing low during the week and then break that. If that happens, then I will be biased to the downside. But based on what I'm seeing here, I would definitely be buying the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ. Let's see, NASDAQ. This is the nearest swing high. Now it created a new one. Nearest swing low would be this point here, which I'm really surprised because I mentioned last weekend, I noticed we had no wick. Okay, so that is kind of, I always have that at the back of my mind when I see candles like that. I'm very cautious. But yeah, very bullish move up. Okay, look at this move. Okay, let me just go back here to the daily. For this week, I'm going to be bullish on the NASDAQ, ES, which is the S&P 500. I am also... Okay, so that's a nearest swing. Well, actually, technically, it created a new one, but I'm just showing you right now. This is where the swing high was. It broke it, closed above it, and you can see momentum to the upside. This is the next swing high. Okay, the more recent one. Swing low would be down here. So it would have to close below this for me to consider shorting the S&P 500. The Russell, same thing. Okay, so we see some very bullish markets here. You can see how it broke it, closed above. Now we have momentum to the upside. The Nikkei, same thing. Okay, so bullish for the Nikkei this week coming up. So I don't know, maybe something's going to happen in the markets. Maybe they have reached a deal, you know, in the Middle East. I know there was talks about it, but if that happens, we could see very explosive moves to the upside. So this is Bitcoin. And I'm going to show you something here because I am keeping an eye on it. We did make an attempt to break the swing high, and it looked like it kind of retreated. This is on the daily chart. So if we were to break above this, this point here and close above it, Bitcoin is most likely going to move further up. Okay, now the only reason why I would want to sell Bitcoin was if it closed below this point. Okay, because this is the nearest swing low. If you look from where current price is and you scan, okay, slowly to the left side, you will find that this is the nearest swing low. And I would imagine the same thing for Ethereum. Yeah, so same thing with Ethereum. Although in Ethereum's case, you will notice that it actually broke the swing high. Okay, so look at this. It broke the swing high, closed above it. That means between Ethereum and Bitcoin, Ethereum right now is the stronger one. Okay, so I would be looking at buying Ethereum. Okay, so if you are into crypto, I would say that, maybe this is a good time to start buying. And this looks like a double bottom here. Look at this. Yeah, so we may start seeing very strong moves for the crypto market further up, which also means there's going to be more risk entering into the market. Now, maybe that is because there's some sort of deal in the Middle East and things are finally going to settle down. Perhaps we'll have to take a look and see when that happens. But otherwise, yeah, that's going to be my analysis for the markets, guys. That is for currencies, metals, energies, indices, and also crypto. And I haven't forgotten, I still need to record a video kind of, giving like what I basically had to overcome when I got my first payout. That is a mini series that I will be working on. Hopefully I can get a video out for that this week. But I did want to do a video on my analysis just so that you guys can see, where I stand as far as the markets for this week. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Also subscribe if you haven't already. And with that said, thank you guys for watching. And I guess until the next trading video, I will catch you guys later.